What if everything you've been told about healing has been backwards? What if the answer to your chronic fatigue, persistent inflammation, or that stubborn health condition isn't found in another pill bottle, another specialist appointment, or another expensive treatment protocol? What if instead the most powerful healing force you'll ever encounter is already within you, waiting to be unleashed? Think about this for a moment. Right now, as you're watching this video, your body is performing millions of intricate operations without any conscious effort from you. It's regulating your heartbeat, filtering toxins, repairing damaged cells, and orchestrating an incredibly complex symphony of biological processes. Yet somehow we've been conditioned to believe that this same intelligent system suddenly becomes helpless when faced with illness and requires constant external intervention to function properly. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Here's what modern medicine doesn't want you to fully understand. Your body possesses a hidden intelligence, an innate wisdom that knows exactly how to restore balance, eliminate disease, and return to optimal function. This isn't some mystical concept or alternative medicine fantasy. This is biological reality, documented by pioneering researchers like Carl Jung, who discovered something extraordinary that challenges everything we've been taught about healing and health. The problem isn't that your body lacks the ability to heal itself. The problem is that we've created conditions where this natural healing intelligence can barely function. Has this ever happened to you? You visit doctor after doctor, try treatment after treatment, yet somehow you never quite get to the root of the problem. You manage symptoms, you suppress signals, but the underlying imbalance remains. That's because most conventional approaches focus on fighting disease rather than unleashing your body's inherent power to restore itself. Every single day, your organism expends massive amounts of energy just processing the constant stream of food, information, and stimulation that modern life throws at it. Your digestive system alone uses up to 40% of your body's total energy budget, breaking down meals, managing nutrients, and dealing with the never-ending flow of consumption. But what happens when you pause that process? What happens when you temporarily stop overwhelming your system with constant input? Something remarkable occurs. That vital energy, which has been tied up in digestion, suddenly becomes available for something far more profound. Your body's natural healing mechanisms, which have been operating in the background at minimal capacity, finally get the resources they need to function at full power. Cellular repair accelerates, inflammation decreases, mental clarity sharpens. This isn't about deprivation or suffering. This is about creating the conditions for your body to remember what it already knows how to do. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely transform your understanding of health, healing, and the extraordinary capabilities already encoded in your biology. The answers you've been searching for in treatment after treatment, in supplement after supplement, have been inside you all along. The question is, are you ready to stop looking outside yourself and finally unleash the power that's been waiting within? Now, I want to go even deeper into this reality because there's a hidden truth most people never recognize about modern existence. We live in a perpetual state of consumption. Not just food consumption, though that's certainly part of it. I'm talking about endless meals, Constant snacks between those meals, digital stimulation pouring into your mind every waking moment, information overload that never stops, entertainment on demand, notifications pulling your attention in 17 different directions simultaneously. This isn't just affecting your waistline or your stress levels. This relentless input is systematically dismantling something far more precious: your body's innate ability to heal itself. Think about what happens in your daily life. The moment you feel uncomfortable, what do? You reach for something. Hungry, grab a snack, bored, check your phone, anxious, maybe a drink, a cigarette, endless scrolling through social media. Sad? There's comfort food for that. Stressed? Another coffee, another distraction, another way to avoid sitting with what's actually happening inside you. We've been trained, conditioned really, to never allow space, to never let discomfort exist without immediately medicating it with something external. If this kind of deeper content resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe. You'll be joining people who think critically about health, psychology, and genuine transformation rather than just chasing the latest trends. This constant interference creates a profound problem that goes far beyond what most health experts are willing to acknowledge. Your body has an inner physician, an extraordinary intelligence that Carl Jung called the healing wisdom of the self. This internal system knows exactly what needs repair, which imbalances require attention, how to optimize every function for peak performance. But here's the critical insight that changes everything. This intelligence requires space to operate. It needs quiet. It needs a break from the endless processing, the constant bombardment, the never-ending cycle of input and consumption. When you're always eating, always consuming, always distracting yourself, you're essentially shouting over your body's attempts to communicate with you. You're drowning out the signals, ignoring the messages, blocking the very healing mechanisms that could transform your health. And here's where the journey gets really interesting, where the real transformation begins. Because true healing isn't about avoiding something, it's about finally confronting what you've been running from all along. When you make the conscious decision to pause, to abstain deliberately from food, something powerful happens beneath the surface. All those patterns you've been burying under constant consumption suddenly become visible. The habits you've used as escape routes, the behaviors you've hidden behind endless distraction, the emotional pain you've been numbing with food or screens or substances, all of it rises up, demanding to be acknowledged. This is what Jung meant when he talked about engaging with your shadow, those parts of yourself you've refused to face. The modern lifestyle hasn't just made us physically unhealthy, it's systematically weakened our capacity for self-regulation, for sitting with discomfort, for making conscious decisions instead of reacting to every impulse. We've lost the ability to feel something difficult without immediately reaching for an external solution. And that loss, that dependency on constant external fixes, is precisely what keeps us trapped in cycles of poor health and blocked healing. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to face what I've been avoiding." What happens when you finally remove those escape routes? When you consciously choose to sit with hunger instead of immediately satisfying it, when you allow discomfort to exist without rushing to make it disappear, you're doing something far more profound than just skipping a meal. You're teaching your entire nervous system a completely different way of operating. You're training yourself to be with difficult emotions, to feel them fully without collapsing into reactivity or reaching for the nearest distraction. This is where genuine transformation begins, not in some abstract psychological theory, but in the actual physical recalibration of your entire system. When you feel hunger and consciously decide to stay with that sensation, your body receives a powerful message. It learns that discomfort doesn't equal emergency. It discovers that you can handle intensity without needing external rescue. And in that discovery, something remarkable unfolds. Your natural healing mechanisms, which have been suppressed by constant interference, suddenly activate at levels you've never experienced before. This isn't about deprivation or punishing yourself. That's a complete misunderstanding of what's actually happening. What you're doing is recalibrating your system toward optimal function, teaching your organism that it has internal resources, internal strength, internal wisdom that doesn't depend on constant external input. And as this shift occurs, the healing doesn't just happen physically. It cascades through every level of your being, emotionally and psychologically as well. Here's where we encounter another hidden truth that most people never consider. Your body isn't just carrying toxins from the processed foods you've eaten or the polluted air you've breathed. That's only part of the story. The real burden, the invisible weight that's been dragging you down for years, consists of something far more insidious: repressed psychological material. All that unprocessed grief you've never allowed yourself to fully feel. The suppressed rage you've kept bottled up because expressing it felt too dangerous or inappropriate. The shame you've carried in silence. The fear you've never acknowledged. Years, sometimes decades, of denied emotions. These psychological residues don't just float around in some abstract mental space. They settle into your body. They become physical. That chronic tension in your shoulders isn't just about poor posture. Those persistent headaches aren't merely about dehydration. That digestive distress that won't resolve, no matter what elimination diet you try, isn't purely about food sensitivities. These physical symptoms are your body speaking, trying to communicate what your conscious mind has been refusing to acknowledge. If this shifted your perspective or gave you a new insight, hit that like button. It helps this content reach others who are searching for exactly this kind of understanding. When you engage in conscious fasting, something extraordinary happens. As your digestive system rests and physical toxins begin clearing, a parallel process unfolds simultaneously. Those stored psychological burdens start releasing. The emotions you've been holding in your tissues, the experiences you've locked away because they were too painful to process at the time, they begin to surface. And in that surfacing, in that release, space finally opens for your body's natural healing intelligence to do what it's been trying to do all along: restore wholeness, re-establish balance, return you to the state of optimal function that is your biological birthright. Put in the comments, "My body knows how to heal." Now here's a critical distinction that separates genuine healing from mere suffering, and it's something Carl Jung observed directly during times of economic collapse. There's a world of difference between being forced to go without food and consciously choosing to fast with clear intention. When people experienced involuntary hunger, when circumstances stripped away their ability to eat, their bodies and spirits weakened. They suffered. Their systems interpreted the lack of food as threat, as crisis, as something to be endured rather than embraced. But when that same physical experience of abstaining from food becomes a conscious decision, when it's chosen deliberately with awareness and healing purpose, everything shifts. Your body doesn't receive it as deprivation anymore. It interprets it as instruction, as a conscious command from you to activate dormant restorative processes that have been waiting in the background. This is the hidden power of intention, the impact of mindset on biological response. The healing doesn't come from the absence of food alone. It emerges from your deliberate choice to create space, to step back from constant consumption, to allow your body's natural intelligence the room it needs to operate. This is why your approach, your consciousness around the process determines everything. Two people can go without eating for the exact same duration, yet one experiences profound renewal while the other simply feels deprived and weakened. The difference isn't in their biology, it's in their mindset, in their understanding of what's actually happening. in the intention they bring to the journey. And this brings us to another crucial revelation that most people completely miss. Fasting isn't about counting hours, like you're tracking statistics in a competition. It's not about testing your endurance or proving something to yourself or others. If you approach it mechanically, if you're just watching the clock and tracking numbers without any psychological awareness, without engaging in genuine inner reflection, you're not fasting in any therapeutic sense. You're simply starving yourself, and there's no healing value in mechanical deprivation. The real transformation emerges when fasting becomes an active practice, when you're doing two things simultaneously, resting the body while exploring what's happening in your unconscious mind. You're paying attention to what surfaces when you remove the usual distractions. You're noticing the emotions that arise when you can't use food to numb them anymore. You're becoming aware of the patterns that have been running your life without your conscious knowledge. Your body is fundamentally an organism of self-regulation and self-healing. It already knows exactly what to do. It has systems upon systems designed to maintain balance, repair damage, eliminate dysfunction, and return to optimal health. But here's what makes all the difference. This intelligence operates best when we're not constantly interrupting it, when we're not overwhelming it with endless input, constant consumption, perpetual processing demands. The space you create through conscious fasting isn't empty space. It's the exact environment your body needs to unleash its full healing capacity. Write in the comments, intention creates healing. Think about what's happening inside you right now at this very moment. Your body is constantly receiving and processing information, signals from your environment telling you what's safe or threatening, messages from your cells communicating what they need to function optimally, intuitive whispers about imbalances that require attention, about what would truly support your healing. This communication system is always operating, always trying to guide you toward health and wholeness. But here's the problem. When your system is cluttered with constant food intake, with endless digital stimulation, with the relentless noise of modern existence, these signals become distorted. It's like trying to hear a quiet but important conversation while standing in the middle of a crowded, chaotic room. The message is there, but you can't make it out through all the interference. This is where the true power of fasting reveals itself. When you give your digestive system a rest, when you step back from the constant consumption, something profound happens. The signal strengthens, the noise diminishes, and suddenly your body's own healing intelligence, which has been trying to communicate with you all along, becomes audible. You start to perceive what your organism actually needs, not what advertising has convinced you to crave, not what habit automatically demands, but what your deeper wisdom is genuinely asking for. This clarity isn't some mystical experience reserved for spiritual masters. It's a natural result of removing interference. When your body isn't expending massive energy on digestion, when your mind isn't overwhelmed by constant input, your innate intelligence can finally make itself heard. And in that hearing, in that connection with your own internal guidance system, real transformation becomes possible. But there's a crucial distinction we need to make here, because intention determines everything. Fasting must serve life, not become an escape from it. If you're using fasting to avoid dealing with your responsibilities, to retreat from challenges you need to face, to withdraw from the very experiences that could help you grow, then you've completely missed the point. That's not healing. That's hiding. The journey of authentic transformation isn't about withdrawal. It's about preparation. It's about creating the internal conditions that allow you to engage with life more fully, more honestly, more effectively. You're not fasting to escape reality. You're fasting to develop the clarity, the strength, and the inner resources to meet reality with greater presence and capability. Jung understood this deeply. He described fasting as a cycle, a recurring process that deepens each time you engage with it. First comes purification, where you clear the accumulated physical and psychological residues, then revelation, where deeper truths about yourself and your patterns become visible. Then integration, where you consciously absorb those insights and allow them to reshape how you operate. And finally, renewed engagement with life from a place of greater wholeness, greater authenticity, greater alignment with your true nature and capacity. Leave a comment saying, "I choose authentic transformation." If you've made it this far, I want to personally thank you. Not everyone has the patience or the genuine interest to explore these deeper dimensions of healing and transformation. The fact that you're still here tells me something important about you. You're not looking for quick fixes or surface-level solutions. You're someone who's actually ready to understand how your body truly works, someone willing to look beyond what's commonly accepted and engage with what actually creates lasting change. If this resonated with you, if something shifted while you were listening, I'd genuinely appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel. This isn't just another collection of health tips. We're building something here, a space where we explore the real mechanisms behind healing, the hidden intelligence your body possesses, and the practical ways you can work with it rather than against it. Having you as part of this community makes all the difference. Before you go, drop a comment saying, "This message was meant for me." I read every single one, and it helps me understand who's connecting with this material, who's actually walking this path alongside me. And honestly, it creates a connection that goes beyond just watching a video. If you found value in what we covered today, hit that like button. It's a small gesture, but it tells me this type of thoughtful, in-depth content is what you want to see more of. And it helps others discover these insights too. Now, there's a video right here that takes this conversation even further into territory I think you'll find fascinating. It complements everything we just explored, and I believe you're going to find it incredibly valuable. Click and continue with me over there. Let's keep this journey going together.